There's actually two tracks to that one question. One is the equipment side, which is what we live on, right? So we get in computers that are being donated are going to be done away with at a company. And what do they do with this? So Terra Troops guarantees data destruction. You give us a computer as a hard drive, we're either going to shred it or going to wipe it.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Grow IT podcast. One of your hosts here, Trey King. And today we are excited to have our guest, Mr. Mark Casper from T-Tech for Troops. And we'll be diving into his story a little bit, as well as what his company does. And then, as always, some engaging insights into the technology industry. So make sure to stick around. But without further ado, Mark, welcome to the Grow IT podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to this one. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Mark, if we can maybe kick off things, if you don't mind, to please introduce yourself and just tell a quick snippet of your story.
You bet. So Mark Casper, President and CEO of Tech for Troops. I am a United States Marine, not former. I served from 83 to 87, but so I'm still a United States Marine. They call me back. I might go. I mean, I'm old, but I might go still. And
Excellent.
I did the corporate thing, right? Trying to rise up the ladder. And then in 2015, December 2015, I was asked to be on the board of Tech for Troops, which is where I'm at now. And I said yes. And I've been in love ever since with what I do and how I do it.
Lovely. If you don't mind to explain, what is it, that got you into this business sector more specifically? What is that exactly what you're talking about, being so passionate about it?
You bet. So as a Marine, when I get out of the Marine Corps, sorry if you hear noise in the background. I can't help it. We have 3 air conditioning units being installed at this moment upstairs on the roof. So, told the guys, hey, I need to have some quiet, but they got to do their work too. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, I call it twisting in the wind. I was not prepared for the civilian life again, right? So I bought into the Marine Corps. I wear the green. I bleed green, all that kind of stuff. And when I got out, even though I was married, I was still married. It didn't fit me. And so in 2015, when I came back into the military community, which is the Army, Navy, Air Force, and now Space Force is one of the coasties, that's where I found my calling. That's where I want to be. That's who I want to be around. But love my civilians. Don't get me wrong. I have nothing wrong with that. But I can talk to an Army dog a whole lot easier because I can say things to him or her that I can't say to a civilian because we've all raised our right hands and done. I do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution. And so there's always that comradeship, that kinship with the military. And so when I was asked to be on the board of Tech for Troops, and then I accepted the executive director role, I found my soul was settled, right? I found that place I needed to be and where I needed to be and who I needed to be. So even though it took me 1987 to 2015, if anybody can do the math real fast, that would be great.
Definitely not me.
Me either. So, but I mean, I finally found that place in life that I needed to be. And I didn't need to grow the corporate ladder. I didn't need to try to make $1 million a day and all that other stuff. It just literally became, how can I support my brothers and sisters in the military community?
Excellent. I think it's quite profound if one finds your purpose. I mean, there's a lot of people, I'm sure you will agree with me, Mark, that just don't never go about and finding their purpose. So that's excellent that it plays such a big role in obviously in your story. From a market perspective and based on your expertise, what would you say are like the current market trends that you are aware of in your space? What way are the winds blowing? What have you been noticing lately?
So there's actually two tracks to that one question. One is the equipment side, which is what we live on, right? So we get in computers that are being donated are going to be done away with at a company. And what do they do with this? So Terra Troops guarantees data destruction. You give us a computer as a hard drive, we're either going to shred it or going to wipe it, no matter what. And that's thumb drives, CDs, tapes, the whole 9 yards. We do guarantee data destruction for all mediums. And then the other part of that is in the country today, and this being said out loud is, honestly, it's like a insider secret in the veteran community. It's that veterans are not the flavor of the month anymore. Active duty are not the flavor of the month. And it's harder today raising funds than it ever has been. And not politics. It's just it is what it is. I think the
That's what it
economy is
is.
not as good as what people say, and it's just people
Mm,
love their dogs.
yeah,
So I mean, those are the two tracks that I go down. One is the equipment piece. The other is flavor of the month. Veterans are not, and that's what I think what's going on in the country at this moment. I hope it's not the world. I hope it's just us who have that, because in my mind, right? So we've supported when when the fights came over, the special individuals there, the guys and gals who supported our men and women. I'm a firm believer that they're my brothers and sisters as well. So if you're in Germany, you're in England, you're in South Africa, and you support America as military, you're my brother and sister as well, right? Because you're helping to keep Americans safe, and
yeah.
my military friends. So we've helped out Afghani as well when they come in, because it's just the right thing to do and help them with computers and technology and trainings.
Got it. And then, if you don't mind, just to latch on that, what would you say is like the current market sentiment like, let's say from a buying perspective?
Oh my goodness. Quite honestly, I think that AMD came out with that new chip.
Right.
And it does, I don't remember the exact number, but it's something like 800 bajillion computations a second. I mean, it's like this massive amount. I think that's game
That's
changing.
crazy.
It's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
I mean, and it's your graphics card is integrated into the chip, and everything's in one now. It's not a graphics card, your brain, and it's all one. So I
Yeah.
think that's the direction we're going in, and we all know, everybody who listens to this understands IT. It's going to
Mm,
grow, but it's going to get smaller. It's going to get faster, but get smaller at the same time. So in the
yeah.
not too distant future, 3 years, 5 years, it'll be the size of a dime, doing
Mm,
all of those computations, all the graphics, everything in one. So I think that's the direction the market's going in, because all of us want smaller. All of us want to be able to carry it around with ourselves. Laptops are bulky. Desktops aren't happening anymore. So it's
yeah.
now in your phone, maybe a tablet, so you can type a little better, but it's going
Mm,
to get smaller and faster. And as we both know, and all of us know out there, that Elon Musk Neuralink is coming soon, and that might be something that helps with Neuralink as well.
yes. The I think if you don't mind, you touched on it earlier, but if you don't mind, just to explain to myself, obviously, and to the listeners as well, what is it exactly? What is it that officially your company does?
Yeah, so there are four programs that we do. One is the data destruction, right? So we get in computers and servers and routers and switches and all sorts of stuff from companies, from banks to doctors and lawyers and civilians walking in the door. We get in some military equipment, not like I want a Humvee. If somebody wants to donate a Humvee to me, I'll take
Okay.
it, right?
I should.
But
I was thinking about it, but
yeah, I appreciate that, right? But I mean, it's one of those things where we get in data, so we guarantee data destruction. The next thing that we do is we support veterans in active duty in suicide prevention. We've saved 14 lives in about 17 months
wow.
now, because the number that have committed suicide is somewhere, hovers around 22 a day. And so we're doing our bit to get that to zero. And we do that
Oh, word.
online using gaming and the gaming communities to make that happen. And then we train veterans. So we have a workforce development. We're going to be starting a data center training program. So active duty and civilians, veterans coming out, if they have the aptitude, they have the financial background, because you have to be vetted financially, and you can pass a drug test, you'll be able to get a job with, say, AWS or a Meta, or just keep going down the line. Data centers are millions of them out there, it feels like. And then we also give 5,000 free classes to veterans online, everything from yoga to Tableau to Microsoft Office, to just keep going. The expanse is huge. So we
My
do
word.
that. And then the last thing we do is recycle and reuse equipment. So we've done that 1.5 million tons in the last 10 years, kept it out of the landfill, which is huge,
Right,
because
just like 1.5 million tons.
1.5 million tons. Yeah.
Gee, that's crazy.
Yeah, the last I saw, I think it was 2022. Well, I might be wrong on the date, but it's not too long ago.
Yeah.
53 million tons of e-waste go in the landfill every year.
My
That's
word.
way too much. And
That,
70% of hazardous waste in the landfill is from e-waste, because of your batteries and your
Yeah.
inks and toners and all those things. So
Oh, word.
it's horrible. So we're
Yes.
doing our best to make life better for our future generations. And we're also doing the carbon offset, because if we're using or reselling, or we're doing something with a piece of equipment, it doesn't have to be created. And we offset over I got it right here, 7 tons last year of carbon.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Fascinating. You've actually touched on a couple of things now what you guys do from a value point of view, but what would you see as the most, you know, significant value, what your business bring to maybe the end user or to other businesses, that you can highlight for us?
So I'll take you to, I went down to Port Jackson, Columbia, South Carolina, about a month and a half ago or so. And I was on
Yeah.
a suicide prevention panel, but that's part of the reason why I was in. The other part was that I was donating computers to active duty. A lot of folks don't know that active duty members are on food stamps because they're not getting paid enough. So I look at it this way: I haven't been in the military. I can either buy a computer for my family, or I can put food on the table. Which one am I going to do? For me, and I hope everybody else, it's food on the table, because you want your kids not to be hungry. So we donated computers to the active duty down there. We gave out 10. We're starting the relationship. I want the relationship to be stronger. But I gave out 10, but there was this one woman, one active duty woman, who stood there literally, and I'm backing up, and she had the computer in her hands just like this, and she
Yeah.
stared at it, and just stared at it, and just stared at it. I put my hand on her shoulder and said, "It's okay. This is what we do. Take care of your kid." Because I
Yeah.
don't know if she had a boy or a girl. It doesn't make a difference. Take
Mm.
care of your kid. And she just stared. Like, it's life changing. So when
Wow.
you support Tech for Troops with equipment and what you do financially, equipment, and we love volunteers, right? We're in Richmond at this moment. We want to expand across the nation, and we need your help with that as well. But if you can support us with that, we can change lives together. And that kind of change that happens for that mom and that child is
Yes.
priceless, because it goes on for generations at that moment. It's not just the here and now, that one
Yeah,
day.
I mean
It is
the ripple effect of something like that, that
boom.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll bring that to the question that you asked: is what do I see, and how somebody helping us, helping them. I'll go back to that one incident, and there's others through the last 9 years that I've been here. I had a veteran from Vietnam. He was a medic, and he walked in
Yeah.
my door. He was late to class, right? And I'm a Marine. I'm gonna get you, man, right? And he literally had a computer in his hand, and he held it up. He said, "I'm giving back." And I said, "Stop your story. Come in front of my class. I'm about to cry here." He got in front of my class, and he's like, I was alcohol, drugs. I was on the down. I was bad, but I got this computer and it changed my life. Boom. He gave the computer back. He's like, "This is for you guys." I were in the class, more veterans in the class. Like, "This is for you guys." And I'm like,
Wow.
what? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's excellent. That's really so profound.
Yeah.
Tell me,
It, go ahead.
tell me, Mark, in your opinion, because obviously you've been at business for quite some time, and there's always ups and downs,
Yeah.
right? Before I get into a couple of things that you've learned, but just from a mindset point of view, right? What would you say is needed to be like a really successful founder of a company?
Oh,
It's a big one.
great. It's a great question. And there's multiple facets answers to this, but I think the one thing that you need, whether it's a man or a woman, it doesn't make a difference, is you have to have the ability, thick skin, right? You have to be able to let things wash off you, and
Mm,
trials and tribulations that come your way, because they will come your way, that you're able to look at it and go, "You know what? I see it. I get it. I hurt right now. I want to quit." But then the
mm,
next day you take a breath and you're like, "Oh, that wasn't so bad." And so those things that happen, I tell my folks all the time, right? "Guys, you can't hurt Tech for Troops if you do the right thing." So, and I was just talking with a friend this morning,
yeah.
and he's like, "Hey, last time we talked, blank, blank, blank." And I looked at him and I said, "If I never tell a lie, I don't have to worry about remembering it." So be honest with yourself, be
Mm,
honest with those around you, because what you bring to the table with your ethics and morals at that point is something that people are going to want to be around. And so once you become that magnet, because people want to be around you, then you're going to see it's going to take time. Trust me, it's going to take time. But once you get that magnet and people want to be around you, success happens. And it's not because of what you're doing, it's because of what they believe in you.
That's such a good life lesson. Is there maybe something you would like to add to that, where things that you've learned in your career, especially for the young up and coming or maybe entrepreneurs for that matter, but is there maybe like one or two things that you can add to that you've learned?
Absolutely. One, the first thing is, no matter your age, I don't care, because I was 52, 59 years, 51 when I came aboard Tech for Troops, right? So I had a career behind me and I was successful. I had the money, I did the trips, I did all that stuff. And it wasn't satisfied. It wasn't soul satisfying, what I call it. I wasn't passionate about project management and other things, right? So if you find your passion, do your passion. And that's not going and jumping off and base jumping, right? I mean, if that's your passion and you can turn that into funds and support yourself and your family, absolutely. But just because it's a passion doesn't mean you're going to be successful at it, because some people might not want to watch you crochet.
Yes.
Right? Who knows? But you find that thing that you're good at then, and then be good at it. And honestly, never tell a lie. Just be honest and tell your boss, if you have a boss, hey, that's not how it's going to work. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Boom, boom, boom. And then let them do what they want. But you'll know in your heart and in your soul, and the people around you will know that you bring good to the table. And when you're bringing good to the table, that's when you'll be successful, because you know in your heart.
Yeah, definitely. That's such good advice. I'm thinking now this actually ties, it ties it up what you mentioned right in the beginning of, when we discussed having purpose. That's such like a everything's coming full circle, right?
It does come full circle. Everything does.
Mark, I truly think it's great what you guys do, man. I can understand as well as why you guys are, so successful in the sense, obviously, to the value that you guys bring to the table. Tell me, Mark, where can the listeners, where can they get hold of you guys?
So we have a webpage and social media as well. If you look for Tech for Troops, TechForTroops, it's techfortroops.org. Of course, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You look for me on LinkedIn. Mark Casper is in the Go, Casper. We're findable or searchable.
All good.
I'm not a social media guru. I'm just not. Right? But I mean, that's where we are. And we do want to expand, right? So we're in Richmond, but we serve nationwide. We ship computers out from Guam to Qatar. If you're a veteran and you need or active duty, you need, contact us. We will support you in some way, shape, or form, right? If we're shipping, we got to charge, because we can't do everything for free. But if you come to my training room and you get a class, we will give you a computer for free.
Excellent. I need to thank you for coming on, Mark. This was
I love it.
Had such a good time getting to know you. All the best to you in the business, and may you guys just grow on that on your platform, obviously, but not just for that. In the areas like you said, you guys are wanting to expand, and I truly hope that happens for you. But at the moment, I can see that it will do. So thanks for the time, and all the best to you guys.
You got it, Trek. Thanks so much for having me.
Take care. Bye now.
You got it.